Okay, I don't know if anyone can come in or not. I haven't really been coming on YouTube that much because I'm just not really into the whole like getting on video as much as I used to. I used to always get on video and I thought it was just like, so fun. But now it's kind of chilling here. Now it's like I don't really get on video as much as I used to. So if anybody wants to come in the chat, they'll just come in. If not, it's fine. Okay, so okay. So it's a little like weird to look on here because like from my end it looks kind of like it's flipped, but then when I play the video back, it looks regular, so it's a little bit confusing to see myself from this angle. But anyways, I just wanted to basically say that I feel like nowadays there's like a big push on people not being able to speak their truth. And I do believe that there should be like a limit to what we say and how we say things. Because, what we say has an effect on other people, and we want to be careful of what we say. But at the same time, there's like a push on people not being able to freely say what they want to say and what they believe because other people will then label them different names because they don't want to accept, like the people who are speaking the truth, they don't want to accept maybe somebody else's like truth. Okay, so if I speak my truth and my truth goes against your truth, then I must be this name or that name because I'm not accepting your truth. But then those same people will then want you to accept their truth. So that's just something that I've noticed. I was watching something about political correctness and how we live in an age now where everybody's trying to be politically correct, and how the more that people are trying to be politically correct, the less freedom people are having to be able to speak and say the things that they truly believe. Because the more other people are going to bully them and come against them. Sometimes people have lost their jobs, they've lost different opportunities because of things that they've said that wasn't necessarily something that was bad. It was just the truth, but because somebody else felt some type of way about it, like, oh, they're not agreeing with my lifestyle, they're not agreeing with my beliefs, so therefore they're against me, or they're not accepting, or just discriminating against me. So it has really destroyed some people's lives, and I feel like that's really a little scary because then that causes people to kind of sit silent when they see things that are going on that shouldn't be happening, or things that they feel like kind of a little uncomfortable in their spirit about. But it's like, I don't want to say anything because if I say something, I could lose my job. Or if I say something, I can lose this opportunity with this news station that I'm working at. Or if I say something, even here on YouTube, like there are people who are on YouTube and they get paid through YouTube and they can't really say things they want to say. Like sometimes even regular words, like they have to spell out words. Like I've seen people talk about like stories and they won't even like be talking negative about anybody. Hold on 1 second, somebody's calling me. Hello? Yes. Yes. Hello? Downstairs? Oh, I don't know why the bell is. Okay, let me go to the door. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I I had somebody delivering something, and then they were like, "We were downstairs ringing," and I'm like, "I didn't hear anything." I don't know. I guess we have to figure out what's going on with the buzzer. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah. So as I was saying, like I feel like a lot of people, um, this can cause a lot of people to kind of be very silent, at times where they should not be silent because of fear that if I speak up, people are going to label me as something, even though I'm not coming against anybody, even though I'm not saying anything wrong. I just see that there's something that I should speak up about, or maybe this is just my beliefs and my truth. And because it goes against what somebody else believes or what is true to them, I'm going to be ostracized and ridiculed because of that. I may even um, be shunned, or, like I said earlier, lose your job or lose some type of opportunity. I just don't think that's right. Like sometimes men may feel a certain type of way about something that women do, and then if they speak on it, it's like, oh, he's sexist, or oh, he's misogynist. And it may not even be anything bad that he said. Like he may just say, oh, I don't feel like it's right if women could do that, but then if a man does it, then a man will have this type of effect. And then he'll get attacked, towards that. And even if you don't agree with what he's saying, it's like, does he need to be attacked? Does he need to be called names? Especially when you don't even know him and you're making such grand accusations like he's a misogynist, he's a sexist, and labeling somebody as these things that could really tarnish their image just because you don't agree with their message, you know? People get labeled, homophobe, people get labeled bigot, racist, sexist, misogynist, jealous, hater. Like, I say, oh, you're a hater because you wish you were like me, or you wish you had what I had. Just all these different types of accusations. Because the person doesn't agree. Like, I can see, like, if somebody is putting out hate language or they're threatening somebody. But if a person is just speaking their opinion, or they're speaking their beliefs, or they're just speaking on an issue that they see, that they feel compelled to talk about, then why should they have to be quiet and be silent out of fear of being labeled, out of fear of being ridiculed? And it's amazing how we live in a society now where everybody's saying love is love, and we need to all just accept everybody else. We need to all just respect one another. But I feel like the more that people are saying that, the less people are actually able to speak their truth, because the more people are being ridiculed. It's like, well, wait a minute. How are we supposedly moving into a more progressive society? How are we supposedly moving into a more loving and inclusive society when it seems like we have less and less freedom to speak our truth? We have less and less freedom to privacy in our lives. We have less and less freedom to access to our information, like on our phones. Like, they're going into everything that we're doing now. We can't have any privacy. Like, even like when you're trying to do things on social media or just on websites, you see so many things saying, well, you have to accept this, you have to accept these terms. And then when you read it, it's like they're going into all my information. So I don't think a lot of people notice that. I don't think a lot of people understand that. But I just wanted to mention that. I don't want to be on here too long because I noticed like nobody's really coming in the chat. And that's fine. I know I don't come on here as often as I probably should. I think if I came on here consistently, then I probably would have people that would come on and come in the chat and all that. I don't really have like a set, oh, this is my topic, this is what I talk about on this channel. So, I just kind of just come on, I just speak, and it is what it is. I also want to show my new hair too. Yeah. I didn't really do my hair. I mean, my face. I didn't really do much. I was taking pictures earlier, and then I was on live a little bit on my phone. So I decided to come on here and see what is going on in the YouTube streets. There's a lot of going on in the YouTube streets. And that's one thing that I noticed. I said earlier with YouTube, it's like a lot of people don't feel like they can really speak their truth on YouTube, because it's like now everything is just so let me see what's going on here, because this phone is like really okay, that's disgusting. I don't even know why. Okay. So that's basically all I wanted to say. You know, speak your truth, speak. That's one thing that I've been learning. Oh, I have some really sharp nails. That's one thing I've been learning is that I have to accept my truth about myself. I can't make up what I think, who I think I am, or who I would want to be. I have to be honest with myself about who am I. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The parts of me that I don't want to accept, that's who I am. Yes, there are things that I can think about in my childhood, things that I've experienced, experiences that I've had in my teenage years and my adulthood that have shaped my character and shaped my personality. Some of it's also genetics. But as far as my choices and the things that I do, that's me choosing. Yes, I might be influenced and might have tendencies that are different from other people, but this is who I am. And I have to accept who I am. And I have to stand in my truth. And the things that I don't like about myself, I can change over time. I might not be able to fully change some of those things because some of those things are so deeply ingrained in who I am. But I can learn to minimize certain things and to work through certain things and to refine certain parts of me and strengthen the parts of me that are good. And I think that the more that I learn to accept myself and who I am and work on the parts of me that are not good or not productive, the more that I can accept people for who they are and not try to make people into who I want them to be or imagine them and hope and wish that they were something that they're not. But to accept them for who they okay, this is who he is. Not this is not this. Yeah, it may be nice. Maybe one day he'll change and be something else. But right now, this is who he is. This is who she is. And I think the more you stand in your truth, the more you're able to respect other people's truth. And the more that you stand in your truth and the more confident you are in yourself, I believe the more that you are less phased that people don't agree with your truth. Right? Of course, we should all have a small circle of people that accept us and love us for who we are. And even those people are going to find parts of us they don't agree with too, right? So we should never expect people to agree with everything that we say and everything that we do. That makes no sense. There's nobody who is going to agree with everything that you say and everything that you do. That's not how life works, because even God himself is going to expect us to grow and change in certain ways that he doesn't agree with. So for us to expect other people to agree with everything that we say and do, it doesn't really make any sense. Yes, people should respect us as an individual, have regard for our life, things like that. But as far as your beliefs and your lifestyle and what you like to do and who you want to be, that's something that you have to accept for yourself. That's not for other people to accept. People don't have to accept what you do. That's your truth. That's what you want to do. So be who you are, accept yourself for who you are, and stand in your truth. And if people don't agree with it, that's fine. It doesn't mean that you're never going to, I can't live now because people don't accept me for who I am. You have to accept yourself first for who you are. Because what happens if you're in a situation where you're around a group of people and they all just don't accept you? Then you're going to be devastated because you're going to feel like, well, I can't love myself now because nobody accepts me. I feel like we have to learn to love and accept ourselves first before anything. So that when people don't agree with us or when people don't accept us, we're not so like hostile. We're not so offended. We're not so like defensive. Oh my gosh, like I can't believe that he didn't agree with me, or oh my gosh, I can't believe that she doesn't want to be my friend, or I can't believe that they don't want to accept my views and my beliefs. That's okay. Even like I said, even people who love you and are in your life, even they are not going to accept every single thing that you say and do. So how much more so people who are not close to you? So I know it's easier said than done. I'm still working through it, but I'm just less and less phased by people just not accepting what I believe. Like that's fine. There's things about myself that I don't even like and I'm working on. So why would I expect other people to accept everything about me when I don't even like all the parts of me? But I'm learning to work on those parts, right? And I'm learning to be a better person day by day. Like that's just, in my opinion, that's just how life works. So I don't know. I think we just have to be careful when we're trying to silence people for speaking their opinion and speaking what it is that they believe. That's one of the great things about America is that we have freedom of speech and we're all able to be here and say what it is that we believe. And we don't have to be worried about being physically attacked or verbally attacked for speaking our truth. As long as, like I said, we're not inciting violence or threatening anybody, because I don't agree with that type of speech. I agree that we should have some limits to what we say. I don't think that we should be like um, threatening anybody or encouraging anybody to bring harm to themselves or to other people. I don't think that's something that we should be doing, in my opinion. But and there is a time I believe that there is a time for violence. I feel like if somebody is trying to attack you or trying to kill you, I mean, I wouldn't tell somebody to just sit there and just, well, you know, I would tell somebody defend yourself. And I guess that would be kind of encouraging somebody to go resort to violence. But that's a different situation than telling somebody, oh, yeah, I think you should resort to violence and kill these types of people. I don't agree with that. So I do believe that there should be some limits on what people can say. Obviously, at the end of the day, we all have a choice to say what we want to say with our mouth. But I think that there should be, when you're in public, like when you're using YouTube or when you're like using any platform, I feel like there should be some guidelines and some regulations, because otherwise people will just run amok. And I think that's just life in general. There needs to be boundaries, even in relationships, because otherwise people will just run amok. And I've had to learn that even in my own life. Like, you got to have boundaries, girl, because people will run all over you. They will stomp all over you. I mean, like, so I heard somebody say, people who have integrity will not do that to you. But people who don't have integrity, they'll see that as license to just run amok on you, drag their dirty feet on your face, and keep moving, and then be like, well, you let me. So we have to have boundaries. We have to have limits in life. But we have to be careful that those limits are not so limiting that people are not able to be themselves. Because, like, you can stop people from talking out of fear, like, oh, I'm not going to say anything. But that still doesn't change the fact that they believe what they believe. So they still are who they are. And actually, when you repress more of what you feel and you repress more of what you want to say, especially if there's anger or resentment or bitterness behind that, the more you repress it, the worse it gets. And the more bitter and more angry and more resentful people get. And then that's when people, they run behind these cults, they run behind these movements that are very violent and very hostile, because they are feeling like, I've been repressing my feelings and my beliefs for so long, so now I can jump on this movement and express my anger and my outrage. And then that's when society gets out of control, because people have been repressing their true feelings for so long. So yes, I do believe that we should have boundaries and limits, but I don't think there should be so much to the point where people feel like, I gotta repress who I am, and then it's gonna come out. Like, you can't repress but for so long what you really feel. And I've learned that the hard way too. Like, you angry and you don't say nothing. Oh, I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna keep the peace, and I'm just gonna not gonna, speak up for myself. And then years and years and years you keep holding it, and then you just explode, and now you're just this angry, bitter person, because for so long you've held in all this anger and this bitterness and resentment towards people because you did not speak up for yourself. So I've learned that too from experience, that like holding in and repressing feelings and desires and all that is just not healthy. Yes, that doesn't mean we should just go completely left and indulge in everything we feel and say whatever we want to say and do whatever we want to do. Like I said, there needs to be boundaries and limits. But I feel like everything is balanced. I don't think that people should be able to run amok, but I also don't feel like people should be able to be repressed to the point where they have to push down who they are, and then it explodes and it comes up in the wrong times and in the wrong ways. And we're seeing that now in the climate of America, where we're seeing people getting more and more violent and more out of control, because like a lot of the times people are not able to really find an outlet where they can express how they really feel. Even with mental health, a lot of people are going through depression, anxiety, all these things, and then they just told, just be quiet and just not be depressed and just get over it. And then they're not able to talk to anybody about it. And then eventually they just run back and just start killing a bunch of people, because it's just like you can act all day like you're okay, but if you're not okay, it's not going to just go away by just like, oh, I'll just think happy thoughts. Like, if you're not well, you're just not well. And that's okay to tell somebody and get the help that you need. It's not healthy to tell people just go sit down, just be positive, just think good thoughts. Because if they really have an issue and they need to get it off their chest or they need some professional help, and they're just repressing it just so they can save face, so they won't look weak, or it's because people keep telling them just to go be positive, then that's not helping anybody, because not only is it hurting them, it's going to hurt other people when this person explodes, because they've been telling 1,000 people, hey, I got issues, I need help, and nobody's been paying attention to them. And that's why I always find it so weird when people commit suicide. People say they were shocked. I'm like, well, why were you shocked? Because a lot of people in this country are not happy. It's a common thing for people not to be happy. Just because people walk around smiling, like, hi, does not mean they're happy. Just because somebody is bubbly and always talking to people and inside all these circles and they got money and they got things does not mean they're happy. Like, that's just something that we always know. But for some reason, when it comes to like everyday life, we forget that. And then when somebody commits suicide, it's like, oh, I didn't know. How could she commit suicide when she was always happy? Like, how do you know she was happy? Did you actually sit with her on a regular basis and see what was really going on with her? Or did you just assume she was happy because she was always smiling, because she was always busy, because she was always making money, because she had a house and a family and kids? Like, I don't know. I'm rambling, but that's that's basically what I wanted to say. So I think I'm gonna get off because nobody coming inside. Ain't nobody coming inside the chat. There's something wrong with this. Yeah. But that's basically all I wanted to say. Hopefully this video is like encouraging to people, especially people on YouTube who have platforms and they are speaking controversial issues, and they may feel like maybe I should just stop talking because people are going to judge me wrongfully. And I think that we all should judge people's character, but I don't think that we should be judgmental. And that's one thing that I've had to learn, because I didn't have a good way of explaining it. I would say I think we're supposed to judge. When you look at the definition for judge, we're supposed to judge. It's just the way that we go about doing it. And two people had explained it this year, and I thought it was so amazing when they explained. They both said the same thing. They both said that, of course, we're supposed to judge people's character and look at how people conduct themselves and things that they do. We're supposed to judge opportunities and different things that we're going to get ourselves into. Judging is just basically coming to a conclusion based on looking at facts and looking at patterns and just looking at things and coming to an assessment. That's basically what judgment is. We do judging in the court system. Judging is something we do every day. So judging is not bad. It's just about how we go about doing it, right? So both of them are basically saying that the problem comes in when we become judgmental, when we see somebody who we never met before and we automatically make an assumption about them because of how they dressed or because of how they speak or because of how they look. That is a problem. We should try to take some time. Sometimes we don't always have that much time. Sometimes we have to come and make snap judgments. And we heard of that saying, snap judgments. Like, you got to come to a judgment really, really quickly because you don't really have time to really assess a person. But even then, it's good to at least listen to what they're saying, as opposed to just like, oh, she must be this way because she dressed this way, because we really don't know that. And even if you think it's like, it's probably not good to like make that like a final judgment. You could probably think it and say, that might be it. And I'm going to go with that for now. However, let me try to get to know this person more and see if that is true. And if it's not, then I'll be able to work through a little more on who this person is. Unfortunately, some people don't really have that much time to do that. We got to make a snap judgment about somebody right when we meet them, because we're never going to see them again after that. Or we got to make a decision right there, right now. But I've also learned that a lot of times we don't always have to make a decision right there, right now. Sometimes people try to rush us. So sometimes we can step back and say, okay, can you give me like 5 minutes so I can really think this through to see if this is like a really good decision for me to make before I say yes or no, because I don't want to just jump into this. If this is something that could wait 5 minutes, give me some time to really think about it, and then I'll come back to you and let you know if I'm with it. So that gives us more of an opportunity to be able to make an assessment about somebody, their character, or an opportunity they're trying to present us, like a job offer or a business opportunity or whatever. So that's a good analogy too. Like we need to stop telling people. Some people they'll try to like, oh, don't judge me. Like when somebody will they'll just make a comment like, oh, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that. Oh, you're judging people. It's not judging people. They're just speaking their opinion about an action or some type of thing that they see that they don't agree with. It's not judging people. Now, if they're saying things and they're talking like, oh, I think I'm better than this person because they do this and I don't do that, then I think that's a problem because then you're putting down somebody else to make yourself feel good. I think that's a problem. Or like I said, because you see somebody has done something, so you automatically make a judgment about them in a bad way, like, oh, she must be like this or he must be like that because he's been to jail, or because that's being judgmental because you don't even know this person, and you haven't really even taken the time to really get to know them before you're coming into this type of and then your judgment is not based on like facts or based on like, okay, I really assessed this person and this is what I came to a conclusion. It's based on you looking at them in a certain negative way and saying, oh, they must be like this because of that. Oh, this person is black, so they must be ghetto. To me, that's judgmental because, yeah, it says here, being judgmental is having or displaying an excessively critical point of view. So it's almost like you're going to the extreme, or you're like, oh, she must be a hoe because she dressed that way. And it's like, and even if she is the type of person, and I don't really like to use the word hoe, but I just use that because that's what people say. Even if she is the type of person that sleeps around, that doesn't mean you should look down on somebody because they do something you don't do. So I feel like that's judgmental versus saying, I don't agree with people when they sleep around. I don't agree with that type of behavior, but I don't look down on the person. If that's what they want to do, that's what they choose to do. But I'm not going to look down on somebody because that's what they do. I feel like that's two different things. So I feel like intent always matters a lot. And I feel like people have a right to say, like, oh, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that, or I don't want to engage in this type of behavior because that's against my morals and my values. But that doesn't mean that the person is hating, or that doesn't mean that the person is against the people who do those things. It just means that they don't agree with it, or they just don't feel comfortable, or that's against their morals and their values. It doesn't mean that they look down on you because you do something that they don't do. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, that's why we have to be more confident in ourselves, to where even if somebody doesn't agree with you and what you do, it's not going to make you so hostile and so taken back. Oh my gosh, like, because I dress this way, he doesn't want to date me because I dress this way. Well, there's other guys who will date you if you dress that way. If that's what you want to dress, that's how you want to dress. Because somebody doesn't want to date you because you dress this way, it's like your life is over. No, like, you'll find another man who will want to date you based on that type of thing. That guy just doesn't want to for whatever reason. As long as he's not insulting you, as long as he's not looking down on you, I don't see any problem with that. If you're confident in who you are as a woman and that's how you want to dress, then be confident in that. Stand in your truth. Don't be so hostile and upset because somebody doesn't want to accept how you dress. That's what you choose to. People don't have to accept that. Same thing with a man. A man may choose to, go to the club a lot. And there may be women who are, I don't really like dating a guy who goes to the club because that's not my thing. Or maybe that's against her morals and her values. Why you want, oh, wow, you don't want to talk to me because I go to the club? Like, so what you trying to say? Like, something's wrong with people who go to the club? No, she's just not interested in that. She just doesn't, that's just not her thing. Like, you'll find another woman who is fine with it. Like, it's not that serious, So I feel like that's something that we all have to work on. Some people are fine with it. Some people are confident in themselves. They're so secure in themselves that they're not phased. But I think a lot of people need to work on that. And it's normal. It's common for people to feel defensive when somebody doesn't agree with us. That's normal. I'm not saying that something is wrong with you if you are hostile towards people who disagree with you, we all have that in us naturally. Some people have just gotten to a point where they've overcome that and they just don't feel phased. They don't feel phased. Some people, they've never really been that type of person that really needed that much validation in their eyes. Like, as long as I'm validated by God and myself, and maybe if 2, 3 people in my circle, I'm fine. And they've never really been that type of person that always seek validation. I know for me, I've struggled with, like, oh, I want people to like me, because I felt like some of my experiences growing up, it caused me to feel like kind of like ostracized and feel like kind of like the ugly duckling. So I think that caused me, and some other things that I've experienced as well, it caused me to kind of like, well, I want to be, seen as beautiful too. I want to be accepted too. Like, what's wrong with me? And so I've had to work on that a little more than I guess maybe some other people. I've heard some people say, I've never really felt insecure about myself. I always felt myself. And I'm like, good for you, because that wasn't me. Because I always was really insecure about myself. And then people teasing me and stuff like that, even into my adulthood, it was hard for me. Because anytime you even try to come to any sense of like loving yourself, here comes somebody trying to tear you down and calling you names and beat you down. So I understand, especially for women, like, it's not easy sometimes really loving yourself and accepting who you are. But I think that's something that we really have to, especially nowadays with social media, and there's just so many people that we can compare ourselves to 24/7. We're constantly seeing people's lives. We're constantly seeing people traveling and doing this and making money and doing this. So it's so easy now to compare, like, oh my gosh, like, look at her. She's married. She got kids. Look at him. He got money. He got this. So it's easy now. It's always been a challenge, but I feel like now it's even more of a challenge, because it's like every time I could just easily go on my phone, like right now, and go on Instagram, and see women on here looking a certain way, like whatever. Seeing people with money, seeing people traveling, seeing people. It's easy to compare yourself. It's easy to say, well, how come I don't? I would like to have that too, and it's nothing wrong with wanting what people have. I feel like as long as it's like inspirational, like, oh, I would like to be one day where she is, versus like, oh, why me? Woe is me. I don't have what she has. I must not be as good as her. I must not be as worthy or as valuable. I feel like there's nothing wrong with wanting to travel like somebody else travels, or wanting to have the money they have, as long as it's like a healthy, inspirational type of thing, where it's like, I'm going to use that to inspire me to get more in my life, because I see how hard she works, how hard she goes, you know. Or if you're a man, I see how he's successful in his business. I would like to have my own business one day. How can I be where he is, or even surpassing where he is? Let me use that as motivation to be, more of a successful man, right? And be a businessman. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that sometimes we just get too caught up in it, and then it causes us to be very insecure. And then that can cause us to constantly be seeking validation, and, oh, I just want people to agree with me and accept me and love me. And it's constant, desperate need to be validated. And then that's why when people come and they say, oh, I don't agree with what you say. Oh, you don't agree with me. Oh, you don't like me, but you a hater. You just, oh, blah, blah, and all this stuff. And it's just like, is it really that serious? Like, they just don't agree, and that's something I'm trying to learn, because it's like, everything don't have to always be an argument. Everything don't have to always be a problem. Sometimes you just got to just be like, okay, you're right. Or I may not agree with you, but that's fine. I'm just learning to just, it's not easy. I'm not gonna tell you. And I'm the type of person, I'm very strong-willed, and I'm very logical. I'm very emotional, but I'm also very logical at the same time. So I'll come with the facts like, well, 1925, it says that blah blah blah. And actually the statistics say that 80% of this is that. And I'll just throw the facts out there and be like, well, this is what it says. And even if I am right, it's like, is it always necessary to always seek to be right? Sometimes you have to just say, okay, I may know more than this person, or I may understand more than this person, but is it necessary for me to lose this relationship or lose this type of connection with this person because I want to be right so badly? especially when the other person's not trying to understand my point of view. If they're trying to like be right too, and I'm trying to be right, and then we're just going like this, then nothing is coming out of it anyway. So at that point, it's just like, okay, no worries, let's just move on. Like it's fine. Or we can talk about it later. We can just drop it. It's okay, you know. And same thing with people speaking their truth. They may say something you may not like it. It may kind of rub you wrong. You know how I've grown so much on Instagram. I mean, on YouTube. I watch different people on here, and one of the ways that I've grown so much is because I have learned to listen to people that give harsh love and not watered down truth. They give the rough, raw truth. They tell you if you're doing this, then you probably getting played. You probably being dumb. You probably being stupid. I'm not saying that we all should talk like that. Some people that's just how they talk. But those type of like harsh love, harsh truths, that's what really has helped me grow as a person because sometimes it's good to hear like the nice soft, like it's gonna be okay, girl. But sometimes you gotta hear the rough truth, like you just being girl, like you just being crazy. Or get up off your butt and go get it done and stop making excuses. Or stop blaming your mama or your daddy or your sister or your brother. You know, get up. Yeah, they may play the role in how you are where you are right now. But at the end of the day, you're an adult now. It's time to get up, get yourself together, and work on who you need to be. And a lot of people that I watch are very controversial. People don't like them. People don't like what they say. People make up rumors about them. People write blogs about them. I listen to controversial people because a lot of times they have truth. They're speaking some rough stuff, and people don't want to hear it. But you know what? People do listen though. They may not like it. They may not like the way it's said. They may not like the message, but they listen because they know that those people are speaking truth. They know, but it strikes a chord in them, and it makes them feel like, I don't like her. Something about her. She get me mad 'cause she say that. But you know what? She got a point though. And that's how I've learned to grow as a person. I'm continuing to learn to grow because I've been reading things and watching things, and it's just like, that's a little harsh. Oh my gosh, like that's me. Like I'm reading stuff about toxic behavior, and I'm like, that's me. And the book is telling you that's you. And if it ain't you, probably this is you. And it's not easy to read or to listen to or to watch, but that's a lot of times what's going to help us to grow because it strikes at our conscience, it strikes at our nerve. And at first it hurts. At first we don't want to hear it. But then if we humble ourselves and we listen a little bit more, we're like, she has a point. Like, I do struggle in that area. I do that. I don't really like that I do that, and I don't really want to accept that, but that's who I am, and I need to change that. And if I don't change it, then this is the outcome, or I'll just keep repeating the same thing. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, we have to accept our truth. And when we accept our truth, then we can then accept the truth of other people. And when I say accept the truth of other people, I don't mean that we have to agree with them. I mean that we can say, okay, I hear you. Okay, that's cool. You know, we don't have to always agree with everything because I don't agree with everything anybody says. You know, like we're all human. So it's like nobody is saying 100% the right thing. But I do have people that I agree with most of what they say. And I watch the variety of people. I watch people that are especially older than me, men and women, people who have different political views. And I'm not really, I don't really get into like politics much, but I do watch different types of people. And sometimes, like, if I feel like they just going off the deep end, or if I'm just not believing what they saying at all, I just cut it off. I'm like, okay, I like them, but this is too far. You know, and I don't think we should ever like 100% agree with every single thing people say. I think that we should always question what people say and say, that sounds good, but is that really true? Or I may agree with that, what she said, but that part, I don't agree with that. That goes against who I am. So I think that it is important that we always question what we listen to, and we always question like what we hear and the information that we receive. And that's why we should also get so mad when people are questioning us, because people have right to do it. I think as long as people are not insulting, like sometimes you could be speaking your truth And then somebody is coming at you, insulting you. Like, who do you think you are? And then they're coming at you sarcastically or aggressively. And it's like, you don't have to come at somebody in that type of way just because you don't agree with them. I think that we should all come respectfully to one. I mean, that's in a perfect world. Like, we all know that's not what's going to happen. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes, and that's goes back to the same thing I said before too. That's how, yeah, sometimes I have to, like, I learn to help myself and not argue with people, because even though they come at me in a certain way, that doesn't mean I have to come back at them and be like, oh, this is what I believe. I can say, okay, that's fine. You know, if I see you coming to add nasty attitude, I already know you coming with the smoke. I don't have to go back and forth with you because I already know you're not coming here to have a dialogue with me. I already know you're coming here trying to be right, trying to tear down my message. So I already know I'm not going to have a healthy discussion with you because of the energy that you're coming in already. You know, so that's there's a lot of different parts that goes into what I'm saying now as far as truth. But to wrap this up, because I'm about to go. Um, there's a lot of watered down stuff nowadays because people don't want to hear the truth, because people don't like to hear the truth, because it strikes a chord. And I believe that how we grow and how we become better women and men, or with children, you know, I don't think that any of us are above reproof. I think that we all can grow and all become better people. And how we do that is when we are exposed to different views and different opinions and different beliefs. And we can hear it out and say, hmm. And sometimes it strikes a chord and it makes us realize that we have to work on some things in ourselves. And we may not like it, it may not feel right, but that's how we grow. And then there may be other times we may hear things that we don't agree with. Everybody say, okay, I don't agree with that. That's against who I am. And that's fine too. It doesn't mean that you're a hater, a bigot, whatever, just because you don't agree with somebody else. And also, if they don't agree with you, I think that when we disagree with one another, we should aim to try to be respectful when we disagree with one another. And that's a work in progress because, like I said, we all have ego. We all want to be right. And some of us have insecurity issues, and we have deeper, sometimes even like traumatic things that we've gone through that make us feel the need to be validated and accepted far more than we should. So there's a lot of like things that go into that, which is why I believe that everybody should constantly be seeking to understand themselves. And if there's any traumas or things you've gone through, that you seek to heal from those things so that you're not perpetuating negative patterns. And that's a whole other video for another day. But yeah, I'm gonna go because I could talk all night. And it's getting late. So somebody will watch this and excuse me. Somebody will watch this and hopefully people will be inspired to still speak their truth, and people will work on themselves and feel less of a need to be for people to accept them as much, right? I think that we all should be accepted by somebody. We all should be validated in some ways. We all want attention, but I think that when we are desperate for it, I think that's when it's a problem. And that's what anything in life, you know, when we're desperate for anything, usually doesn't go well because we're moving from the wrong energy, we're moving from the wrong place. And I think that's why some people, they just get so hostile when you don't agree with them, because it's like they just feel like so personally attacked because you don't want to accept them for who they are, when we don't have to accept everything about each other. You know, I think that yes, we should still have regard for one another's life and well-being, but I don't think that we have to accept other people's lifestyles, other people's views because they want us to. Because I'm sure there's things about us that other people don't accept, and there's things about them that we don't accept. So it's kind of hypocritical because, like, I want you to accept me and everything that I talk about, even if you don't agree with it, you still need to accept it, because if you don't, you hate, you're a hater. But then there's things that about me that you don't accept. So how is that? So I'm supposed to accept everything that you say, regardless of whether I need to research it first or not, regardless of whether it's against my morals and values, regardless of whether I just don't agree. I'm supposed to accept it because you want me to accept it out of fear of being labeled something. But then there's things about me that you don't accept. So something about that is just not adding up here. Like, how is it that I'm supposed to be all inclusive for you, but you're not going to be all inclusive for me? That's like if somebody is a Mormon and somebody says, well, I don't accept, people who I don't accept the Mormon faith. People want to be Mormon. That's their decision. They could be Mormon, but I don't accept Mormon faith because it's against what I believe. Then somebody says, well, you need to, if you don't accept Mormon faith, then you're discriminating or whatever, whatever. But then the same Mormon person says that I don't accept the person's homosexuality. It's like, wait a minute. But how is it that you want the person to accept your Mormon faith? And if they don't accept it, then they're discriminatory. But you're not accepting homosexuality is not discriminatory. It's like, that's why I say like it's really, that's when we start, and that's when we go down a rabbit hole. That's why I believe that there needs to be balance and everything, because a lot of times we're not balanced as a people, and because we're not balanced, that's what causes these type of like hypocrisies and all these like feuds and these like riots and these divisions, because it's like everybody's just trying to, I don't know, it's just weird. It's like in one breath you're saying we're all supposed to just love and all accepting, but then in the same breath, you're being racist in 2019. It's like, well, how how is it that you telling me to accept you in your lifestyle, but you're being racist towards me because I'm black? Like it's just really weird, So that's why I say, we need to just focus on ourselves first. And I think when we work on ourselves, then we are able to better deal with other people. But if we cannot accept and work on ourselves and stand in our own truth and be confident in ourselves and learn to love ourselves and to know who we are and whose we are, I don't think that we're able then to have any type of like healthy interactions with other people. And I think that's where a lot of this stuff is coming from, because people are looking outward and they're looking for other people to love them and other people to accept them, other people to do this and other people to do that, as opposed to saying, what is it that I need to do for myself so that I can be the person I need to be? And then from that, people will then gravitate towards me, and I will gravitate towards other people based on the work that I've done in my life. Because I notice that the more that I work on myself, the less I attract certain people anymore. The less I attract certain situations to myself. I remember when I was young, I used to attract so many horrible things to myself. I just couldn't understand it. Now, some of the stuff that was in my childhood and things like that was just like unfortunate events that I had no control over. And I think that's just things that God just allowed to shape me into the person that I am today. And I didn't know that then. And a lot of my anger and my lashing out and rebellious, nobody talk to me, everybody just leave me alone. I'm just angry because everything is just going bad in my life. Like you go through that phase because you're just angry at God, because you're like, why is my life constantly in trauma, constantly in turmoil? But now I look back and I understand more that that was for a reason. I didn't know that in my early 20s. I didn't know that when I was 18, 19, when I was angry. And even now, like, I don't fully understand it. And I still get angry at times, but I understand it better than I understood it when I was younger. However, when I got older and I had more control over my life, I was still attracting things in my life that was very traumatic and a lot of turmoil, that things that were unnecessary at that point, because I was not dealing with myself and working through the things I need to work on with myself. And that's when I had like this desperate need for people to accept me and validate me, and desperate for this and desperate for that and desperate for this and desperate for that. And I tried to work on that because I don't want to live my life in any type of desperation. Because when you live like that, then you will always find fault in everything. You will always find yourself reacting instead of responding. You always find yourself attracting things that should not be, or making rash decisions that you should not make because you haven't really actually took time to really think about it, because you're just always in, I gotta have this, I have to have that. So I think that it's important for us to work on ourselves and to heal from things that we need to heal from, and to grow from things we need to grow from, and just to continue to evolve as individuals, because it starts with the individual. It starts with the individual, and then it starts in the family, and then it goes into the families, and then from the families it affects the communities, and eventually affects the different neighborhoods and society, and then overall, right? And that's why we're seeing like the breakdown of a lot of individuals. We're also seeing breakdown in the family, and then that's why we're seeing the breakdown more in out in the society. So a lot of us, sometimes we feel like, oh, well, I'm just one person. But if we all work on ourselves, that's not just one person. That's thousands of people, and then eventually millions of people, and then eventually billions of people all working on themselves. And then things, becoming better as a whole society, and then eventually as a world. I mean, the world is never going to be perfect. This is not a utopia. This is not heaven. So there's always going to be crime. There's always going to be different things in this world that are not good. That's just how it is. But we can minimize and we can work on certain things if when we start with ourselves. And I hope that people will continue to speak their truth. People will continue to speak out against things in the world that are not good. People will continue to speak out on things that they don't agree with. And people will work on themselves and not be so personally um, offended and feel like people are always against them because they don't agree with them. And like I said, from experience, I understand what that's like. So I'm not saying that, oh, you bad person because you always looking for validation. I know what that's like. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from understanding, saying I know what it feels like to want people to agree with you. And if they don't agree with you, then it's like, oh, well, they don't like me or they don't accept me. What's wrong with me? And feeling like that. I know what that feels like. So I'm not beating anybody down and saying you're a bad person because that's how because a lot of people are like that. People may not agree and admit that they are like that, but a lot of people are like that. A lot of people, they are very angry when you don't agree with them. They're very, very angry. They get so hostile. Even if they don't say anything, but you see it in their face, you see it in their body language, they get really upset because that's just human nature. We want to be accepted. We want to be validated. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that when it comes from a desperate place, that's when it becomes unhealthy. That's when it becomes unhealthy. And then, and that's why we need to be able to speak our truth so that we can say, well, this is how I felt. This is what it is. And then we can say it and then we can get off our chest and we can move forward. But if we repress it, that's when bitterness, resentment, and all these other things pile up. And that's when other things start to happen. So I don't want watered down truth. I want to hear raw truth. What I do with that truth is up to me. Like I said, you can bring a horse to drink water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. We all have to act on that truth in our own time, or we can reject it. It's our choice. But we all have a right to speak our truth. So that's it. I'm gonna go. Hope you guys have a good night, and I will get back on here maybe tomorrow, because Thursday's holiday, maybe Friday. If you guys want to see me get on here more, talk about more topics, let me know. People don't usually let me know, but you can always comment or whatever and say, yeah, I want you to get on here more often and talk about different topics. And you come in the chat, talk with me. I don't mind talking with other people. And I don't mind doing this too, because I can just freely talk. But I think it's good like when people come in, because then you can interact. And then it's like, it's not just me rambling. I could stop and read something and respond to it or not respond or whatever the case might be. So I hope you guys have a good night. And if I don't come back on here, I hope you have a good holiday and that you will find things to be grateful for. I definitely want to use this week to find more things to be grateful for. I've been going through a lot of stuff this year. This year was one of the hardest years of my life as far as like personal development and things that I've been going through. Like I said, I just been having so many like revelations about myself, and that's not always easy. But I know there's things that I need to be more grateful for, even though I'm not in the space that I would like to be. But the fact that I have my life, the fact that I am feeling okay, God is good, life is good, even though it doesn't always feel that way. But I'm learning to be more grateful for the things that I have, because there are people who don't have anywhere to stay. There are people who are in bed right now, bedridden. There are people who fighting for their life right now. So I think that sometimes we take those little things for granted. There's people who can't speak, they can't hear, they can't see. So, and I'm not saying that because we can see, because we can hear, because we can eat and have a place to stay, that our lives are still not hard, because you can have all that and be ready to give up. So that doesn't downplay anybody's situation, because I don't like people say, well, you have a house to live and you have a place to stay, so you shouldn't be depressed. There's people who are rich, who got millions of dollars, and they are committing suicide. So just because you have all these things doesn't mean you're automatically going to be happy. Happiness is not just in the things that you have. And if anything, we should strive, I believe, for joy, because happiness is great because it's nice to feel happy, but happiness is an emotion and it can always change. I could be happy right now, and then something could happen, like I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to put it out there, but whatever. And then next thing I'm not happy anymore. So I feel like happiness is an emotion, but it can change in like a split second. So I'm not downplaying anybody's, you know, hard times they're going through. Just because you have things doesn't mean that means that you're depressed. I'm just saying that for myself and hopefully for other people, it's just a reminder that even though we may not be happy, or we may even just be completely depressed or whatever, we are still grateful. We are still not grateful. We are still I guess blessed, that fact that we have life and the fact that we have health. Even if my health is not exactly what I would like to be, because I would like to, be even healthier. I would like my body to be even more clean than it is now. I know that that's also me having to do some more things as far as what I eat and things like that. But overall, I don't get sick that often. I'm doing pretty okay. So like I'm saying, we are blessed to have the things that we have. So I just wanted to say that. Um, so take care, and I'm gonna head off, and hope you guys have a good night. Um, and speak your truth. Speak your truth and stand in your truth and accept your truth. And I think the more that you do that, the more that you will be less inclined to feel, as long as you accept yourself, as long as you know where you're going and who you are, then I think that's where everything falls into place. Take care. Bye.